Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I want to talk about Iragoth, the Eternal Dragon. We only have 2 days left to clear this Doom Tower. So I hope that this video reaches you guys if you guys are struggling to clear this piece of content. I'm going to make a team, or I'm going to go over how to make a team with basically the minimum required resources to defeat this boss so that you guys can achieve the juicy sacred shard, the portrait at the end of this hard Doom Tower boss. So basically, let's jump into this. So this is obviously not the team that I'm going to show in this video. So this team's pretty good. It's a 1-minute team against the Eternal Dragon. But basically, let's quickly go over the boss guide for Iragoth. So Iragoth will attack all enemies and then place block active skills for 1 turn. And then he also has this other ability, Soul Burst, where he attacks all enemies, put enemy skills on cooldown. So he fully locks out your team. So he renders your team mostly ineffective, especially when they have key abilities on their cooldowns. He also has this huge Spirit Rush attack, which deals bonus damage when your skills are the more you're locked down your skills are. He also has a way to recover with his little side adds by eating one of his side adds. His side adds also debuff you with their decreased defense, which can be pretty annoying. And yeah, here's his, if he eats one of his guards, he can heal by 15% of his HP. He's also immune to basically all the regular boss stuff. Can't be turn meter manipulated, can't be slowed. You can't blow him up with max HP damage, at least not from one champion. So how do we defeat this boss in the most resource efficient way possible? So I'm going to show you guys a strategy that is kind of old, but it worked really, really well, especially for me back in the day. And it's super easy when you really think about it, but this boss is challenging to defeat. So this boss is 250 speed. So at this point in your progression, you should be able to hit gear to at least be faster than this boss with most of your champions, even if you have to re-gear a whole team for this one fight. The boss is 250 speed, so if you have key skills that will be locked out, you ideally will go faster than 250 speed, so you can put those skills out first before they get locked out. In terms of resistance, you will be needing about 450 resistance to resist his abilities, and you will need about 350 accuracy to land your debuffs against him. Keeping that all in mind, the best way to probably build in terms of what's most realistic for people's gear levels the first time they encounter a hard 120 boss is basically without you probably cannot build resistance and accuracy together on one champion. You probably just don't have the gear for it. I'm going to limit myself to using mostly epics and free to play accessible champions to make this team a little bit more viable. But this is basically what I did when I first encountered this boss. So first, you basically take champions that will work with just their A1s or passive abilities, because you just assume that your champions are going to get locked out. You don't have the skills, you don't have the stats on gear good enough to resist this boss fully. So you can't build a resistance team, for example. So basically you pick champions with very good A1s or very good passive skills. And then of course you have to make them tanky enough so that they can recover from his hits. So I'll show you guys the team that I put together here. Alright guys, so this is the team I put together for you guys. So like I said, this is not a new strategy that I came up with. This is just merely me sharing with you guys what worked for me the first time I was going through this boss, which was actually quite difficult, especially the first time you meet him, because most of your champions will be very ineffective against him, but this team works perfectly well against this champion. I'll go over the details of this team after the fight. So let's jump into the fight and see how it works in action. So first, obviously, this is not going to be an insanely fast team that blows through the waves. So we're going to have to sit through the waves a little bit here. But you can see that the waves are not particularly durable. So even this team will be able to go through them relatively easily. So we'll just let this team slowly work its way through the waves. So like I said, this team basically works fully off of passives and good A1s. Okay, guys? So you don't need to have resistance. You don't need to fight against lockout. You don't even need insane speed against Iragoth to try to get your skills off before he locks you out. So the way this team works, like I said, strong A1s, good passives, and the teams, the champions in this team kind of speak for itself. So you can kind of just watch how this team works. So I'm just going to target Iragoth here. So what he's going to do is lock us out. So we're fully locked out. We're just playing with A1s here. And yeah, here we go. So our Vrask has the team heal A1. We got the AoE attack down from Padma. We have the attack down A1 from Jawg. You see, nobody has resist. Nobody can resist anything. But Doom Priest's passive will remove the debuffs just passively, just as she takes turns. And our full damage is coming strictly from Drexar's passive HP burn. He literally stands there, gets hit, and then conducts his HP burn on the boss, and then he takes damage. That's it. As long as the boss has this attack down on him, we should be okay. The thing with this boss is that he does take a double turn when he's setting up for his big AoE slam, and that's when you need a three-turn attack down, or have two champions with the attack down. So you see here, it did fail. Of course, this team is not going to be 100%. It's going to take another. It's going to take some tries, but you can see here his stacks. He's got the extra boss buff here, and that's when he does his extra damage. So you gotta be a little bit careful there, and you gotta make sure you have the attack down placed on him. So we can try again, and we'll see you guys at the boss. All right, guys, we're back to the boss here. We're gonna try that again. So obviously, if you have much better stats on your team, if they're super fast, then obviously they're going to have a lot better survivability. They're going to be able to cycle through their skills a lot faster. They're going to be able to recover faster. So obviously gear them up with the best gear that you have. Me personally, you guys will see the stats afterwards that I did not put very good gear on these champions. They definitely could have better gear. I'm trying to test the bare minimums on this boss. So you can see here, Vrask actually died immediately. So we will try this again. Okay, guys, third time lucky. Let's see if we can get this going here. So we get locked out. Vrask actually takes the brunt of the damage there. So we definitely need to apply the A1 right away. Let's see here if we can actually get it going. And we take a big hit there. Okay, the attack down is applied now. We should be a lot more safe. Just barely living. Just living. Nope. You know what? I figured out the issue. All right, we're back at it. So I made a mistake with Vrask. So Vrask's A1 only works if he has 100% crit. So I omitted the crit from his build. That's why he wasn't healing, which totally makes sense. So hopefully this run will be a lot more smoother. So you can see there, he has a pretty good size heal, about almost a 7k heal there. So very, very nice. It seems to be working right now. Let's target the boss here whenever we can. Vrask still taking quite a bit of damage here. All right, so he's recovering a little bit. Doom Priest coming in pretty huge with the debuff removal. We got the 3-turn attack down on the boss right now, so looking not too bad. Not too shabby right now. Let's see if we can do, what else we can do here. Brimstone on Drexar, obviously very, very massive. It's not necessary to have Brimstone on Drexar, but obviously it will be helpful. Okay, looks like the defense down did land on Vrask, taking him out. Will our team actually still survive and be able to beat this boss without Vrask, which is basically just extra healing? So far, it looks like they might be able to do it. Our Doom Priest is a little bit on the slow side, so her removal is not as quick as it could be. There's the double turn, and we wipe again. So here we're losing a little bit of the healing again from the Doom Priest. Might take another try here. But at least this time we know that it was the Vrask, and we actually got much closer here. Let's see if we can do it anyways. Brimstone getting us real close. Drexar holding on. There it is. Okay, so obviously the brimstone was very helpful, but this team should be able to clear this boss with a couple tries depending on your RNG. And if you have better stats than me in my builds, you're definitely going to have a better time with this boss. But basically I wanted to illustrate to you guys this concept that's going to help you guys defeat this boss with relative ease, I would say. So let's jump into this team and I'll show you guys the builds. So Drexar here, he's actually in a really old build here with lifesteal. Regeneration is kind of better because it's a lifesteal is dependent on getting procs off War Master or Giant Slayer, whereas regeneration just gives you flat healing. But lifesteal does give you potentially larger heals. So you can have a quick look here at his base stats. So 212 speed, quite slow. Of course, his defense and HP are going to be pretty good. He has good base defense to scale off of. His HP is a little bit low, but obviously with the 1-star blessing, he's going to get a pretty big boost. He has pretty low speed relative to Iragoth. Like I said, Iragoth has 250 speed. Ideally, like you would want to be at least 250 speed, so you get the first turn against Iragoth, and then you would be able to go at least 1-for-1 in terms of turns against Iragoth. If you had him in regens set, your healing is based off of per turn, so you definitely want him to take turns to heal back. So I have resistance on him, but that's not really necessary, nor will it resist a lot because 380 is not enough. Accuracy is a little bit much, so I could have removed his banner, for example, and he would have been okay. But overall, that's going to be the Drexar build. He's in Giant Slayer for some additional damage. Obviously, with lifesteal, having a Giant Slayer here will be helpful. He is fully booked. He doesn't need to be fully booked. He's one of those champions that don't need to be. The only thing that helps from books is this chance of placing the HP burn. He has a base 55% chance of placing the HP burn, so he gets another 20 here, so he goes up to 75% chance. Is that really necessary? Probably not, because he gets smacked all the time. So he's going to apply his HP burn pretty consistently. Great champion. He's free from the where is he from? From the clan shop or the bazaar? I don't remember, but it's one of the two. It's been a long time. Sorry, guys. But basically, you have to buy the fragments every day. Don't save up to buy them all at once. You have to buy them every day because there's a limit to how much you can buy. So make sure you guys buy his fragments every day. Collect him. When you get him, he's going to be huge, especially for some of these Doom Tower bosses. This is the build you want. Like I said, about 350 accuracy is good. His speed, kind of not super relevant, but of course you want more speed so he can recover for himself. Coming up next, we have Doom Priest here. I gave her kind of like whatever gear almost. You can see her total stats here. She has 90k HP, but a little bit of it is held by the blessing. She has lower than 250 speed, and the rest of her stats do not matter. She doesn't need resistance. She doesn't need accuracy in her build. If you have defense, that's great, but her main thing is her healing and basically just staying alive. So giving her accuracy, giving her a high HP so that she can stay alive, that goes a long way. I gave her survival instinct just so she can get some extra turn meters so that she can get her passive healing back. So her passive gives everybody a 7.5% HP heal and removes one random debuff, which is awesome because you saw how often our team got debuffed. So she works super well. Like I said, she doesn't need insane stats or anything, but of course, giving her more survivability is good because you can see that we were getting smacked. So I put two set immortals on her because, for example, I'm simulating as if you had limited gear and then you just didn't have like a regen set, for example. So I wanted to limit the amount of regen sets on this roster. So for her, I just had two immortal sets. I have no masteries on her. If you put War Master on her, she'll do a little bit extra damage, but honestly, her damage is totally negligible, so you don't need it. She doesn't need books. She doesn't need books at all. Her passive doesn't need books, and that's what she's known to do. That's all she's here for, so there you go. Doom Priest, excellent. If you don't have a Doom Priest, you can sub her out for somebody like Volgoth. Volgoth has passive healing as well. So for example, I'll dig up Volgoth here. So Volgoth, for example, has the passive that whenever this champion is attacked, heal all allies by 50% of the damage received. So he basically just stands there, gets hit, and then heals up your team. Volgoth would actually be really strong against this boss, but he doesn't remove the debuffs, which is a little bit of an issue. And if your team is constantly provoked and have decreased defense, they might not be able to survive some of the hits. So Volgoth might not be as good as Doom Priest here, but of course Doom Priest can only remove one random debuff, and if she removes the wrong debuff at the wrong time, then your team might wipe. And you know, a little bit of RNG, but you know, this fight's not going to be a 100% fight, like with consideration to the accessibility of this team. It's it's just not going to be a 100% fight. So that's the Doom Priest here. Up next we have Jawg. I did put him in the lead for some extra HP. He does bring an aura here for some extra HP in all battles, just for some survivability. But the main thing about Jawg is that he has a 60% chance of placing the attack down on the A1. So like I said, the attack down is very important. In order to survive the big hit from the dragon, you need attack down on the dragon, and you need it to be up all the time. And he does take a double turn. So unless you have consistent 3-turn attack down, or you have consistent 2-turn attack down all the time, the dragon will be able to skip attack down maybe once, and then he can wipe your team. So having 2 attack down champions makes this fight a lot smoother. Jawg's really good because he does bring a little bit of passive healing as well, places continuous buffs on allies for 1 turn whenever they lose 20% of their max HP in 1 hit, and the dragon hits so hard, it's very easy to get some continuous heals. Other than that, he's just kind of a big meat shield. He has great HP for his epic status here. He doesn't have incredible base speed or anything like that, and he does require accuracy to land his attack down, so he's a little bit stat hungry. So I'll show you guys total stats here. 76k HP, a little bit low on defense. Speed's underwhelming, under the 250 threshold. Just enough accuracy to land whatever he needs to land his attack down. I put 1 counterattack accessory on him because it's a 5% chance for him to counterattack. And I gave him Survival Instincts, extra turn meter, so he can get some more attack downs on his A1. Masteries, he does have War Master, but honestly, it's not going to do anything for him because he's not going to do any damage anyways. But Jawg, he's a great candidate for this boss fight because he has a strong A1. Attack down. He has a good aura. He has good passive. So very, very good in fitting in with this strategy here. Up next, we have Padma. Padma's not a champion that we see too often. She is a void epic. Her big thing is her A1. It's a double hit, 85% chance, up to 100% chance of placing decreased attack on all enemies. So if it's critical, obviously. So she needs a 100% crit rate to land this as a 100% chance. So I think I've kind of botched this build a little bit here. I didn't put the 100% crit rate on her as well. I went for more survivability. I definitely could have put like a crit rate glove here and then probably improved the chances of her attack down landing. I totally forgot about the crit chance, but definitely would have been more helpful here. But her A1 is super strong against this boss. Putting the attack down on the entire, all the minions and the boss is super, super important. Her other skills, not that impressive. She does bring some AoE attacks here for the waves, which helps a little bit. Cruelty, because she has the A1 AoE, so then she can weaken the defense on the boss and his minions. I do have War Master. She does do a little bit of damage, so having War Master helps a little bit, but she's not the main source of damage in this team. I have her in Stalwart. Stalwart means she takes less damage from AoE attacks, which is helpful against the Iragoth because Iragoth just does AoE attacks. So moving on, lastly, we have here Mr. Vrask. Was this the Vrask? Sorry, it looks like I have 2 Vrask. So this is the Vrask I put together here. So he has just under 90k HP, 240 speed. Rest of the stats don't matter. He does require 100% crit rate on his A1. Fills this champion's turn meter by 20% if this attack is critical. And then his passive is heals all allies by 10% of this champion's max HP whenever this champion inflicts a critical hit. So if you give him 100% crit rate, he will heal your whole team for 10%. So that's what I was missing. Definitely put 100% crit rate on him. And as for Padma needs 100% crit rate as well to land the AoE decrease attack. That's something that slipped my mind completely. Vrask has very good base HP, so you can build him up to have a good team heal on his A1. I have him in regen because he's super important to stay alive, but he was getting rocked, and I was pretty sure this is because of his super low defense, and he was taking the most damage even though his health pool is quite high. So maybe balance him out with a little bit more defense here. Maybe 2.5k defense would have been a little bit more helpful for him. No masteries on him. He technically doesn't need books because he doesn't need books on his A1. He doesn't need books on his A2, and his passive doesn't need books. So he doesn't need books at all. Put Phantom Touch on him so he can do a little bit more damage, but he's not going to be that big on the whole damage front for him. All right, guys, so there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the team. I tried to make the team as reasonable as possible. You can see nobody here has like insane speed or anything. Yes, some of the HP pools are quite high. Obviously the blessings help, so if you guys have low end blessings for your epics, you know, I don't think it's that unreasonable to imagine that you might have accumulated some epic blessings along the way, so that definitely helps a lot. I went for basically min accuracy for most of these guys. And in this case for Padma, she actually wasn't able to land her attack down that often because I didn't give her 100% crit rate. So that's my bad, but definitely build her with 100% crit rate if you guys plan on using her. Personally, I think Padma was the champion that was very MVP for this fight. If you guys need a substitute for somebody like Padma, check out the attack down options that you have, and then look at what you have that can work for this fight. For example, I don't think there's going to be a strong enough A1 champion in my immediate thoughts that can do what Padma does, which is basically just neutralize the entire enemy wave. Sepulchre has the A1 attack down. Tyrell, I actually tried Tyrell as one of the first A1 attack down champions against this boss, and it works. Him with Jawg does work, so having 2 attack downs did clear Iragoth for me before Padma. And he's kind of tanky too. He's like a defense based champion, so he can take a hit, but after that, I mean, there's not going to be too many here. Does Nazana? No, she has an AoE but no attack down. Yeah, Sepulchre has the attack down. You're looking for the attack down A1. But anyways, Padma is going to be an absolute killer in this slot here if you guys need her. Drexar is obviously MVP if you guys can get the Brimstone on him. It's going to cut the runtime in half and obviously improve your consistency. Just because the longer you're in that fight, the more chances that you're going to wipe and then lose the fight. But Brimstone on Drexar is definitely going to speed that up if you guys have it available to you. Obviously, HP boost is huge as well. Okay guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully that strategy makes sense. It's a very simple strategy. It's a very old strategy that I used back in the day, you know, like over 2 years ago to clear this content. But hopefully it helps you guys in today's age. I didn't really gloss over some of the newer champions, so definitely if you guys have some newer champions, you guys can incorporate that into this team to maybe even enhance this team and make this better. For example, I could see somebody like Sun Wukong being pretty impressive in this fight as well, because he just kind of doesn't die, but obviously he's going to be locked out and all this stuff. But since he dies and comes back, he probably will be able to recover off of his some of his cooldowns a lot quicker. So you might want to maybe try him out. Obviously he's not going to be helpful with the attack down, but he's going to bring some extra damage for you. But yeah, just some things to think about. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this strategy. If you guys are having trouble with Iragoth, if you guys have any cool teams with Iragoth, and yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys can beat Iragoth in the next couple of days, and I'll see you guys in the next video.